Morning and welcome, sir. If you'll come forward to be sworn as a witness wherever you're comfortable, if you'll face me and raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Do you swear affirm any testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, sir.
Thank you. If you'll follow the bailiff now to the ramp that leads up to the witness chair, please watch your step. Go ahead, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. That microphone is fully adjustable.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Detective.
Morning, ma'am.
Can you please state your first and your last name for the jury?
My name is Anthony Watson, W-A-T-S-O-N.
And how are you currently employed?
I am a homicide detective with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office assigned to the Criminal Investigation Division.
Do you have any other assignments?
Yes, I'm currently detached to the State Attorney's Office as a liaison between the Sheriff's Office and the State Attorney's Office. Still an active homicide investigator, but luckily I'm kind of drawing to the end of my career here, so I've moved into this position to kind of make sure things go smoothly between the State Attorney's Office and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office with court preparations, things that the state may need or something that the Sheriff's Office may need handled.
And was that your assignment back in March of 2017?
No, at that time I was a member of the Violent Crime Squad assigned to the Criminal Investigation Division.
What kind of investigations did you investigate in the Division of the Violent Crimes?
So as part of the violent crimes, we would handle adult sex crimes, shootings not involving deaths, overdoses, suicides, missing endangered individuals, and kidnappings.
Specifically, did you get involved in an investigation regarding a Trevor Summers?
I did, ma'am.
When is it that you became involved?
I believe it was March 12th, 2017 at about 12:30 a.m. was my initial phone call that I received, and I think I responded and arrived on scene somewhere around 1:40 in the morning, 1:45.
Where did you first respond to?
I believe it was a Newberry Grove residence in the south part of the county.
Did you later learn that was the residence of the defendant, Trevor Summers?
I did, ma'am.
And what did you do when you arrived there?
My initial instructions were to respond to that location. I arrived. To be quite honest with you, I got on my vehicle and met with the deputy who was on scene, introduced myself, and immediately I got a phone call from my supervisors instructing me to come back to our Criminal Investigation Division.
And is that where is that located, the Criminal Investigation Division?
It's off of Falkenberg Road, kind of in the center part of the county, Falkenberg Road near the fairgrounds.
And why did you have to respond back there?
I was instructed that they were preparing a photo pack, and because I had no knowledge of the case up to that point of anybody involved, they would like for me to administer the photo pack. So I was stopped from doing anything in the investigation and brought back there for that purpose, ma'am.
What is a photo pack?
Photo pack, or a sequential lineup, is the technical term for it. It's basically a group of 6 photographs. What we would do is we would insert a photo of the person that we believe may be involved in the incident that's currently being worked as well as 5 other filler photos. So a photo pack consists of 6 photos, and it's something that's shown to a witness or somebody who may be able to assist in the investigation, and they're shown one at a time. So they're not shown all 6 at once, they're shown one at a time to them. The photos are.
Why did you state previously that you were chosen because you didn't know hardly anything about the investigation? Why is that important?
So what we do on a photo pack or sequential lineup is we do what's called a blind show. And what that means is we use somebody to show the photo pack. Doesn't really matter who puts it together. It's usually the case agent or somebody who's really involved in the case on putting it together. But the person who shows the photograph, they are to have no knowledge of the case or who's contained within the photograph. And the purpose of that is so that individual can't taint or try and suggest anything to the individual as to maybe, hey, you should pick this guy, or maybe lead them in any way whatsoever. Because at that point, I know nothing about the case. I don't know who's contained in the photo pack or anything else like that. And that's the person who shows the photo pack. They're not supposed to know anything about the case at all.
Did you put the photo pack together?
I did not, ma'am.
Who was that?
I believe it was Detective Steele, but I wasn't part of that, so I couldn't tell you who for sure.
So when you responded back to CID, what's the next thing you did?
Met with Detective Steele, and Detective Steele advised me that there was a witness, I believe his name was Randall Crosby, that was present at Criminal Investigation Division, that they had prepared a photo pack, and I was asked to meet with Mr. Crosby, which I did in one of our holding areas. and administer the photo pack to him.
Did you know any facts and circumstances surrounding the investigation at that time?
I knew that there was a missing individual, and that is it. I knew nothing else about the case other than I had went to a Newberry Grove residence. I never entered, spoke with anyone, or gathered any other information about it.
Did you have the name Trevor Summers even at that point?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So were you handed the photo pack?
I was.
And what did you then do with that photo pack?
I met with Mr. Crosby, introduced myself, and we entered into one of the rooms at the Criminal Investigation Division for the purpose of administering it. When we go into the room, it's only us that are in the room. No one else is in the room. It's just him and I. When I say him, because at this point it was him.
May I first witness, Judge?
You may.
Detective, I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit E for identification purposes. Have you previously reviewed this document?
I have, ma'am.
And is it a fair and accurate copy of the photo pack, excuse me, that you showed Mr. Crosby on the early morning hours of March 12th of 2017?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
State offers in evidence State's Exhibit E.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
It'll be admitted.
Permission to publish.
You may publish it here.
When you first meet with Mr. Crosby, what did you tell him?
Since I've done these in the past, I always use the same terminology with an individual. The first thing that I do when I introduce them is explain that I have no knowledge about what's going on, so I'm not going to be able to answer any questions to you or anything about the case. If you have questions about what we're going to do after the fact, please hold those and speak with the case detective that you've been dealing with. After that, I read them a set of instructions that it's attached and provided with every photo pack. These are read verbatim. We follow those instructions to make sure that each time everything is read exactly the same to anyone who's shown a photo pack.
Publishing page 1 of Exhibit E. Is this the first instruction page that you are referring to?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, that's my handwriting up on the top, on the part that says Randall Crosby, the part that says witness, and then at the bottom that's my signature and my badge number, and that's the instruction sheet that I read to him.
Okay. Now, this bottom part, person identification, did you fill that out, or was that filled out before you met with Mr. Crosby?
No, that's filled out after the fact. That is not my handwriting, so I can't tell you who that was, but it wasn't there when it was originally shown.
Okay.
So that may be Detective Steele's or someone else, but not mine.
Now, the date of it states that the date of the offense was March 11th of 2017. It had a victim's name. Did you fill that out?
No, again, that is not my handwriting at the top. That would have been who prepared the photo pack. My handwriting begins on the portion where it says person viewing the lineup, the relationship to the case. Then down at the bottom where it says identified, the number 5 is my handwriting. The date and time that signature occurred, that's my handwriting. And then below it again where it says deputy signature and ABN, which is our identifiers, that's mine as well.
Okay. So you read these instructions to Mr. Crosby?
Verbatim, ma'am.
Can you please read them today,
Sure. May I scoot up a little closer?
if that assists you in reading?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Oh yeah, you can step down if you need to.
Is this fine, ma'am?
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to show you a photographic / live lineup. This group of photographs or individuals may or may not contain the person who committed the incident now being investigated. Regardless of whether you make an identification, the Sheriff's Office will continue to investigate this incident. Keep in mind that hairstyles, beards, and complexions can change, so focus on the facial features that you remember. You will be shown the photographs / individuals sequentially, one at a time, before moving to the next. All photographs / individuals will be shown to you, even if you make an identification. If you recognize a person, please inform me which person you recognize and how you recognize them. Please indicate to me in your own words how certain you are of your identification. Also, do not discuss with any other witnesses that you have or have not identified anyone.
And then was this bottom part, the signature that you discussed earlier, was that filled out after the photographs were shown?
Yes, ma'am, at that point.
Okay. You can have a seat. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you show the photographs to Mr. Crosby, or do you hand him the photographs to view himself?
So the photographs are contained in an envelope, and what I'll do and what I did is I remove them one at a time and show them in the order that is prescribed. So in this case, it was items 1 through 6. He was shown photograph number 1. Once he finished doing that, handed it back to me. I would place it back in the envelope and then shown photograph number 2 and so on.
And how did you know which one was photograph number 1 and which one was 2 and so on and so forth?
So they're numbered on the back of the photographs, and again, that's part of if you put a number 1 or number 2 on the front of it, it could somehow have some meaning. So those are numbered on the back of the photographs.
Publishing the second page of the photographic lineup. This was the first photograph that you showed Mr. Crosby?
Could I see the back of it, ma'am? It is.
Did you put the black mark in the mouth area? Did you make that decision or part of that decision making at all?
No, ma'am. That decision's made by whoever compiled the photograph. Or the photo pack, I'm sorry.
Photograph number 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Photograph number 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Photograph number 4.
Yes, ma'am.
Photograph number 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you showed Mr. Crosby photograph number 5, was that signature and date on the back there or just the number 5?
No, it was not. I had him put that on later on.
And photograph number 6,
Yes, ma'am.
was he required to look at all photographs prior to making any kind of identification?
Well, at one point he did stop on number 5 and made an identification. At that point, I informed him that it's still required that he look at all the photographs to ensure that it was fair and accurate at that point.
So the first time showing him photograph number 5, he made an identification?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you ask him to do after he identified photograph number 5?
At the end of showing the photographs to him, all 6 of them, I asked him to sign and date the back of the photograph that he had identified.
And is that what is located on the back of photograph number 5 at this time?
It is, ma'am.
Were you aware, did you conduct any interview with Mr. Crosby? Were you aware of what he had observed earlier,
No, ma'am.
or the night of March 11th of 2017?
No, ma'am.
After Mr. Crosby made an identification, did you in fact know that was the listed suspect in the case?
No, ma'am, I did not.
What did you do after the identification was made of photograph number 5?
I had him fill out the bottom portion of the instruction sheet identifying or notating that he identified number 5. I then exited the room, met with Detective Steele, returned the photo pack to him, and at that point I was doing some ancillary duties around the office until later on I was assigned to do other things.
What were you assigned to do later on?
Later on, I was assigned to accompany Detective Steele, and we left the office with the intentions of kind of driving the surrounding area to look for it. Now I had known we were looking for a vehicle with Mr. Summers and his estranged or ex-wife.
What was the vehicle that you were looking for?
I don't even recall. It happened so quick from the time we left there, we were instructed to go do other things. So we never even got a chance to get in to start looking for the vehicle, ma'am.
What was the next assignment you received?
Well, we were made aware that there had been at the estranged wife's house, and I'm sorry, I call her the victim. I don't even know her name, ma'am. I apologize. But the victim's house, that there had been a window that had been discovered unlocked, and our supervisor had instructed us to respond to that residence and await further instruction at that point.
Was that at the 1412 Du Bloom?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you do, if anything, when you were there at that residence?
We arrived on scene. I met with the deputies who pointed out the window on the south side and explained, or I had learned, that the window had been found unlocked and then had been slightly moved ajar by the deputies. At that point, I relayed that information back to our supervisors, and they said, okay, I was instructed to have them continue to secure the scene, and then left at that point.
Did you then respond back?
Yes, left, got a few miles away, received a phone call, instructed to return back to the residence, and at this point was instructed to participate in an entry team into the residence for the purpose of trying to make sure that nobody was inside the residence or injured.
And was that done?
It was, ma'am.
Was any search done of the house at that time, or was it simply to make sure no one was injured inside the home?
There was a search of opening doors and opening bedrooms and closets and stuff to ensure that there wasn't someone inside the house, but not a search looking for an item, only looking for a person or anyone that could be injured inside the house.
So not a search collecting any items or anything such as that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Were you present when that was done later on after a search warrant was obtained?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Were you asked to conduct any interviews in this case?
Yes.
Assist in any interviews?
I did, ma'am.
And when was that?
After I departed the residence and the clearance of the house had been completed, I was then asked to respond down to the Newberry, I believe it's Newberry Grove residence, where I participated in the interviews of the defendant and the victim's 4 children.
And those 4 children, were you the one conducting those interviews, or was that mainly another detective?
Detective Steele was the lead on it. I was his assist, so I would say the majority of the interview was conducted by him, and I would step in here and there to assist.
After those interviews were completed, did you know where the victim in this case was, or the defendant?
No, ma'am.
Did you interview anybody else after that?
At some point later in the day, I did, ma'am. I interviewed the parents of the defendant, Trevor Summers.
And did they know where Miss Summers was, or the defendant?
No, ma'am.
Did you do anything else with regards to this case?
Yes, at the end of that day, I had been up since midnight, so this was going on late in the evening. I was released for the day. I was instructed to return back the following day to report to the command post to receive instructions. The following day, I did report to our command post. I was then tasked to respond to what's called the Mary Lee House for the purpose of forensic interviews with the children. And essentially, a forensic interview is a law enforcement officer speaking to a child or someone like that may be a little intimidating or things like that. So the children were set up for these forensic interviews in which someone specifically trained, maybe a psychologist, or I don't know exactly their training, but...
Is that a forensic interviewer?
A forensic interviewer, yes, ma'am. They interview the children within a room that is videotaped and has cameras, and they conduct interviews with them without us being in the room. We are outside the room watching and listening to the interview.
And is this a child-friendly location?
Yes, ma'am, very much so. The room's set up with coloring books and crayons and stuffed animals and things like that.
Were the children's interviews consistent? Did you watch from the law enforcement room?
I did, ma'am.
And were the interviews of the children consistent with the interviews they provided the day before on the 12th?
Yes,
to
ma'am.
you and Detective Steele?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you then and this was on March 13th, is that correct? That you attended the forensic interviews?
That's correct, the 13th.
Did you then learn later that the victim in this case and the defendant had been located?
Yes, ma'am, at some point.
Were you asked to do anything else, interview anybody else?
Yes, I guess that had all happened actually while we were conducting the interviews at the Mary Lee House, and upon the completion of that, I was asked to re-interview Mr. Summers' parents for the purpose of asking a couple of follow-up questions that apparently information had been gathered during the contact with either Mr. Summers or the victim.
And did that conclude your duties?
Yes, ma'am, at that time it did.
May I have a moment, Judge?
Absolutely.
The state would pass the witness, Judge.
Cross-examination, Mr. Summers?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Detective.
Sir.
Good morning. Sorry. I had a couple of questions about the photographs. The photographs you just saw, were they copies of the originals?
I have no idea if those were the originals or copies, sir. I believe that was probably the original photo pack, but I didn't have my hands on them, so.
So the originals were in black and white, or were they color?
Black and white, sir.
Okay. And when you went to the Newberry Grove residence, can you explain what the environment was like when you arrived?
I don't know what you mean by the environment. The house had children in there. I believe that there was 1 or 2 adults inside the residence. We took the children into a den area, I believe it was, in the residence, and spoke with them one at a time individually without the other children being there or without having any kind of outside interference with the adults that were there.
Okay. What's the policy or procedure for entering that home or commandeering that home without a search warrant?
I don't believe that was considered a crime scene when we were conducting interviews, so I don't think that there was a search warrant that was required or written for that home.
Okay.
There was searching the home. They were in there, or I was in there to conduct an interview with some children inside the room.
Okay. Well, do you know who would have granted permission for you to use the home?
No, sir, I do not.
You do not. Okay. You didn't ask if you had permission to be there?
No, that wasn't a decision that was made by me one way or the other, sir.
Okay. And you're not required to ask anyone if we have permission to be there?
I don't understand what you're asking me, sir.
Are you required as a detective to ask whoever the lead detective is if you have permission to be on that property?
No, sir.
No. Okay. And do you know approximately how long you were at that property?
There were some pretty extensive interviews, and this is just an estimation, sir. I'm going to tell you at least a couple of hours.
Okay. And do you recall when you walked in the front door of that residence, what room you conducted the interviews?
And this is purely off of memory. It's been 5 years, but I believe the den was located to my left as you walk into the front door of the residence.
Okay. Can you tell me what was in that den?
I have no idea, sir. I think it was a desk and a couple of chairs that we spoke to the children in.
Okay.
I didn't search the room. I conducted nothing like that. It was purely because it was an area away from everybody else that we conducted the interviews.
Okay. And who conducted the interviews with you?
Detective Steele.
And in between the children's interviews, was there a break?
Well, I mean, there would have been a natural break in between. We finished one child and moving to the other child. Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you were finished with those interviews, did you immediately leave that property?
I believe so. I mean, we would maybe have had some cordial conversations with the adults in the room, thanking them and telling them, whatever we needed to move forward.
Okay. And then on Monday the 13th, at the Mary Lee house, you said those interviews were recorded?
The Mary Lee House interviews?
Yes.
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Do you know if they were transcribed?
Ooh, I have no idea, sir.
Do you know if they're required to be submitted with your supplemental investigation?
By me? No, sir.
Do you know if they're required to be part of a supplemental investigation?
They were part of my supplemental investigation, sir. I notated in my report.
I mean the actual recorded statements made by those children?
Oh, I have no idea. That's something that Mary Lee House would have included and impounded in part of those recordings, sir.
Okay. Did you notice anywhere in the police report that those recorded statements were included?
I did not, sir. My report's about 3 pages long. I did not read other individuals' reports.
Okay. Who else was present with you from law enforcement at those interviews?
It may have been just myself, sir.
Okay. So since you were the only witness to those interviews, it's not required that you provide anything other than the mention of those interviews?
Yes, sir. I wouldn't have went into what was said or anything else like that. That becomes hearsay. The most accurate representation would have been a video and audio recording that would have been conducted at the interviews. And that's not something I take part in. That's something that the Mary Lee House and the forensic interviews do.
Okay. Who would have been the person in authority at the Mary Lee House?
The forensic interviewers, they take control of that.
Do you know their names?
I do not, sir.
Have you met them before?
I've been to the Mary Lee House 2 or 3 times for forensic interviewers. There's several people on staff there, so I do not recall the specific name of the forensic interviewer at that time. I believe that would have been recorded and included in that such.
Okay. Did Detective Steele or anyone else ask you to collect those interviews?
Not that I recall, sir. I don't know.
Okay. Then I have no further questions. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. When you were at the Newberry Grove Loop, was any law enforcement officer collecting any evidence, doing any searches while you were there?
No, ma'am.
And as far as you know, is there any single piece of evidence in this case that was obtained from that Newberry Grove loop.
Not that I'm aware of, ma'am.
Did you ask permission of one of the adults prior to speaking to the children if you and Detective Steele could speak to them?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing further, Judge.
May this witness be released by the state?
I had asked that he remain
Subject to recall.
Yes, Judge.
So-
He can leave the building.
All right, so not excused, just released. But you can leave the building, so you may step down. And it is 10 minutes till 10. I don't know how long the state's next witness is, but how about if I ask you to call them and then we'll take a break if they're not done shortly after 10 o'clock, since 10 o'clock is our usual breaking point.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may call your next witness.
The state would call Jacob Becker.
Jacob Becker.
I apologize.
Becker?